Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well and I hope that you have a magnificent day. I am here to do an intuitive card reading to see what energies, insights, messages, and guidance the universe wants to share with us, especially in regards to practicing gratitude, being appreciative for what you already have, looking for the good, looking for the bright side, looking for the silver lining, because the universe recognizes when you can appreciate and be grateful for what you already have, and then it knows it can trust you with even more. And that's not to say that you sidestep or you sweep things under the rug and pretend and act like things are just perfect, but you're putting your focus on gratitude rather than complaining and negativity and fighting against what is and making yourself the victim and just having pity parties all the time. So let's take a look at the cards and see what the universe wants us to know. So we have a rainbow, connect to spirit and nature, and this feels like connecting to the universe through nature as a conduit, but also when you're able to connect with life, with love, with just the essence of all that is through things like nature, you can appreciate and see the splendor and the awe and the magic and the beauty in what is, even though things aren't always to your preference, even though there are, things that'll go awry and your plans won't go exactly the way you want, you can still see the beauty and the magic in it and how the universe orchestrates it all. And it'll also help you have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, and you will notice things like the rainbow, which can lead you to your own pot of gold, But a lot of times we're very disconnected in modern society. We aren't very appreciative. We can get in those negative narratives, limiting beliefs, pity parties, making ourselves out to be the victim. And yeah, there's plenty that suck. Like last night, I don't know what it was, but all these little white inchworm looking things kept appearing, and at first it was just a couple, but literally they just kept appearing every time I turned around, and I'm trying to figure out where they're coming from, because I can appreciate the universe and all life, and I do not wish ill onto anyone or anything, but something about bugs when they're in my space, because these things were everywhere. There's at least 50 of them, I kid you not. You might think that's a good exaggeration. No, they just kept appearing and multiplying, and it was freaking me out. And so I'm trying to get pieces of paper to scoop them up and put them outside, because I don't want to kill them, but the creepy crawlies give me such ick. I feel so uncomfortable and so sick to my stomach. I don't handle them well. It's fine when they're outside, because I'm that's your home, but it's no, eviction notice, you're not welcome here. This is supposed to be kind of my sanctuary, kind of a place where I can have peace. Yeah, there's the whole conflict and drama that my family brings, but I don't want to deal with all you bugs. I don't want to exterminate you. I don't want to be oh, they're not allowed to live on this earth. There's a reason you're here, but I'm no, not in my house. And honestly, it just made me appreciate all the times when I don't have to deal with that. It's just okay, most of the time I don't have that going on. I end up washing a bunch of blankets, and I think it was coming from the trash can. I don't really know. I don't know what they were. But today, it was free of them, and I'm so grateful for it. Yeah, it sucked. It was not to my preference at all. It was not my plan to be spending all that time and energy trying to figure that out and to make it so I didn't have all these unwanted guests here. Not that I want them to die or I want to hurt them or anything, but I'm no, I don't want you here. And so, yeah, it's just, I could be going on a pity party and making myself the victim, be I can't believe this, because literally I spent so much time trying to figure that out, and I got very, very tired by it, but things seem to be working out now. I took the trash outside and the trash cans outside, and I have not seen any of them in here today. We washed all the blankets, because I'm maybe they're in the blankets. I don't know, because we have all these blankets out because Suki's been trying to claw up all the chairs that my family got because our old ones were breaking. So I'm like, I don't know, but I'm just trying to make the most of what you have. Because, I could have been like huddled up in a ball crying because of that. Because honestly, part of me kind of wanted to, because like, honestly, like, something about them just like, ick, and just sensory no, and like, even the buzzings can drive me up the wall with bugs. Like, I don't want them to be hurt or anything, but like, it just gives me the ick. And it's like, my skin feels like they're on me. It's just, ugh. But I know they have a purpose, and so it's just like, I don't want to be like, oh, they're bad, they're evil, they're out to get me. They're just trying to live their little lives, okay? That's why I'm like, okay, get you outside, live your little life outside. We can both coexist, but I don't want you coexisting in my space. But like, just looking for the bright side, the silver line is like, okay, it's over. Okay, I'm not in it anymore. Okay, I was able to find some solution. I don't know what it was, where they were coming from, but they're no longer here. They are now living their little lives elsewhere, and we can both be happy, and we can both live, and like all these things. Yeah. Cherry live an extraordinary life, and that's the thing. Like, if I were to choose to be like my family, because they will do this, and I'm guessing it's because they don't know better, and I guess that, like, somehow it makes sense to them, I don't know, but they keep going back to these old stories of things that happened to them, and ranting, complaining, and fixating, and obsessing, and festering over the negativity, and like, I could be in that, like, literally, I could be wanting to fight the world and be like, why'd you wrong me? Why'd you do this to me? Like, I'm choosing peace, I'm choosing love, I'm choosing kindness. Like, all these people keep doing things to me, like that toxic group with the narcissist, my family. Like, I've had all these people who were very unkind to me, who used me, deceived me, manipulated me, gaslit me, all these things. It's like, I could very much get into that, make myself a victim, be like, why this, why me, why me, why do you keep doing this to me? I'm trying to be good, I'm trying to be a loving human, why are you doing this to me? But if we do that, if we go down those roads, and we just get so caught up in those negative narratives and limiting beliefs, we can't live an extraordinary life. That's why the universe is like, hey, what can you be grateful for? Like, I was so grateful that they stopped showing up last night, and I was actually able to go to sleep, because honestly, with how they were just appearing everywhere, it was freaking me out, and like, I would not have been able to go to sleep. I was up to like, I want to say it was like 3:30 in the morning trying to figure out that thing, because like, it just was giving me the ache, and it's like, I know that they're little bugs, and people be like, oh, you can just squash them, they're nothing. But like, I wouldn't have felt comfortable and safe, because like, I would have known they're there, and I know that it's like, the human mind and its emotions and all these things, like, I get that, but I'm like, okay, how can I live a more peaceful life? Okay, I gotta handle this so I can have peace of mind, because I know myself and where I'm at this journey, and if they are all in here, I'm gonna feel too sick and too icked out and creeped out and like ill at ease, and like, I don't need to do that to myself. So what steps can I take? Okay, I can wash the blankets. Okay, I can take the trash out, and whatever it was seems to be fixed now. So it's like, yes, be real. Yes, be honest. Yes, be genuine. Be vulnerable, and be like, I don't want this. Having all these unexpected, uninvited guests here, no, they need to be evicted. Not dead, evicted. Bye-bye. Enjoy your life outside. That's where you belong. You can have a new home. But it's just like, you don't need to stay in that negativity. You can look for bright sides, for silver linings. Like, I was so grateful to go to bed after that, and that they were not in here, and like, such peace of mind. Such peace of mind. And it's just like, and I was only one awake, and like, I feel like my family wouldn't have done anything about it, because they saw one earlier in the day and they're like, oh, the cat wants to play with it. That's so cute. Ha ha ha. But like literally, they just kept multiplying. I'm like, where the heck are they coming from? The silver lining, I was able to figure something out. I was able to take steps. I was able to, keep a cool enough head to think, things through and try to figure out things and still find ways to be grateful, to be appreciative of like how normally they're not here, and you can live an extraordinary life, but it depends about your attitude. It depends on what you're focusing on. If you look for the light, you can often find it, but if you look for the dark, that's all you'll ever see. If I would have obsessed over the problem and how they're here and like got so caught up in my head and those negative narratives and being a victim and like freaking myself out, because I very easily could have gotten into those emotions and I would not have had a good time. Like I probably would have cried myself like in a quarter and like had an anxiety attack. Like it nothing to the extreme, but like I've freaked out before because we've had issues with things like ants before in the past. My family thinks this house was built on an anthill, like things, and so it's like, oh, they're just little bugs, and like they'll just like squish at them and all that. But I'm like, I don't want to kill things unnecessarily, but I also don't like them in my home. It's like, you weren't invited in. Please see yourself out. But yeah, like, know that stuff like that, it won't be forever. We were able to fix it. Mostly me, because I was, taking initiative and looking for solutions rather than staying fixated on the problem. But you can have an extraordinary life, but it helps if we're connected and grounded. If we're looking for solutions, if we're looking for messages, signs, insights from the universe, Last quarter moon in Aries, work through your feelings. Yeah, if I had let my feelings run rampant, it would have played out a lot differently yesterday. A whole lot differently. I still got in my emotions. Don't get me wrong. I'm still very much human. I had a time with that, but I was able to move past it. I was able to look for solutions and see where it potentially was stemming from, trying to get to the root to the matter, And I was able to work through my feelings. Took some time to, figure things out, but I was able to do it. And you can too. It's not always easy. Things aren't always fun. Things aren't always to our preference. Sometimes life hands you situations like the one I had where I'm just like, no. No me gusta. No bueno. But yeah, I was able to work through it. The storm passed. And we have peace and no uninvited guests again. And it's wonderful. It's marvelous. I am so happy. Yeah. New Moon in Pisces, attuned to the divine. Because, I'm going to use an example that happened with one of the kids that I babysit and tutor. So, generally speaking, people can get so caught up in the victim and things that they don't like, the victim mindset and things they don't like, that they see everything as the enemy. They see things as inherently wrong and like they want to fight against it and eliminate and exterminate, but that just leads to more problems. Like, for instance, I was taking the one boy, he happens to be autistic, to one of his activities the other day, and while I was trying to find a place to park and this old man was getting into his car, he was going a little bit slower, I guess, than the autistic boy wanted. And so as I'm like parking, apparently he flipped the old man off. And so like we're walking to like get him signed in and all that, and the old man calls out of his truck and he's like, "Hey buddy, what's your problem? Why'd you flip me off?" And at first, before he got to the flip up part, I was like, did I do something? Did I park too close to his car? Like, did he not like that I parked in that spot? And I'm like trying to process, I'm like, I don't think I did anything wrong. And it's like, oh, you got flipped off. And so I looked at him, I was like, why'd you do that? He started going on, creating all these stories about how this old man was a pedophile and a gangster. And I'm like, what? Where are you getting this from? And I was like, I stopped him and I was like, hey, because he's like trying to say all old people are like that. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Listen. Are your grandparents like that? And he's like, well, no, they're really kind and nice. And I was like, then you know for a fact not all old people are like that. You can't go around saying that. You don't know him. Why are you doing that? And like he was getting agitated, and like I was trying to get him to be able to apologize to the old man, and the old man was like not happy with what happened, and so he's like, well, have a good day, buddy, and like drove off. And it's just like we cause unnecessary problems for ourselves like that, because with him, he can get very impatient, and like even like getting him home from school, there's lots of traffic because all the kids are leaving at the same time. And so he'll start saying that other people don't know how to drive because it's taking so long to leave the school. I'm like, no, it's just the traffic. And like he just gets it into his mind that he's the victim and everyone else is in the wrong, everyone else is stupid, all these things. Like, if we come from this energy, and like I try to demonstrate it for him, I try to, show an alternative, because I know if he stays in this mindset, it's his choice, he has free will, but it's like if he stays in that mentality, life is going to get really rough for him. And we're going to miss out on the divine. We won't see the divine in other people and other things. Like when I got, separated from that toxic group of the narcissists, it was very hurtful because I thought that, they were my friends and everything. But it's like once I got out of it, I could see the divine situation. Like, oh, this rejection, this separation, this is actually you protecting me and setting me up for better things, because they were actually really unhealthy for me. And like, I can see why people will be like, well, they're horrible, they're monsters. Like, the things that they did, you wouldn't wish on anybody. Let me tell you, like, your worst enemies, you wouldn't even wish it on them. Like, it was messed up, the things that they were doing. And like, I can understand why people would be hurt, and like the humanness of like wanting to get even and like vengeance, all that. I get it, but I'm like, honestly, what they're doing is just running away from themselves, running away from their problems, running away from their feelings, projecting all of their internal messiness and hurt and all this murkiness onto other people, and then saying you're the problem. And so it's just like, yeah, I can see that. I know that they have good in them. It's just very, very hidden, and people make the choices. And I'm not going to go around wishing other people ill will, which is what I try to teach the kids that I work with. Whether or not it picks up, I don't know, but I'm hoping that I planted the seeds and that they will take root and sprout, because this world, man, people aren't tuning into the divine. They're not seeing the good, the divine in other people. They're treating other people as enemies. They're screaming at one another, fighting one another. It's a lot. It's a lot. And yeah, people aren't opening up to change. New Moon in Aquarius. They're not opening up to potential. They're not opening up to what could be. They're getting so fixated on what they see right in front of them, and they want things to change in order to feel better. But the universe wants us to know that we can choose to change how we feel. We can choose to feel better, and that will help our circumstances, our situations change. If we feel better, then reality will turn out better. And happiness, peace of mind, that kind of thing is an inside job. We have to choose it. It doesn't mean we have to be happy about everything that happens. It doesn't mean we have to, never be upset about things and, always be at this place of zen and I am just one with the universe and I am perfect and I am not human anymore. I have shed my no, we don't need to do that. But just being open to change and recognizing that anyone and anything can learn, grow, and improve. It can change for the better if we give it the chance. But we got to have the right mindset, and not everybody does. And also, not everybody trusts. First quarter moon in Aquarius, trust the universe. Not everyone trusts. They think that the divine, God, the universe, source, whatever you want to label it as, has forsaken them, has forgotten them, has abandoned them. They feel like denials, rejections, any time they suffer is the universe, God, abandoning them and letting them just, wither away. And it's like, that's not the thing. The universe has our back. The universe will use anything and everything to our benefit. But sometimes all our hardships is really coming back to us and the energy we're putting out and the things we're believing and what we're focusing on, what we're associating with. Because, if we're doing things like speaking ill and death and, chaos and all that over ourselves and our lives, if we're fixating and obsessing over negativity, if we're looking for the bad and being like, I'm just going to expect the worst because, that's just how it is and everything goes wrong, nothing ever goes right. Well, that's you not trusting. That's you getting in your own way. You're self-sabotaging whether you recognize it or not. These limiting beliefs and negative narratives are really tripping you up, and it can be blocking you and denying all these blessings, magic, and miracle the universe is trying to give you. Because again, if you look for the light, you can often find it, but if you look for the dark, that's all you ever see. That's all you ever see. So, the universe could be lining up all these opportunities, these blessings, these miracles, all these gifts for you. But if you aren't even looking for it, or if you think that everything, is a trap, like you can't trust because it'll be used against you, and it just looks good, but the other shoe's gonna drop. The other shoe's gonna drop. I can't trust this. It's not good. And so it's like, you gotta learn to trust again. Use your discernment, because the wrong people could do some real damage. But you shouldn't let some bad actors, some bad experiences get you to never trust again, to be closed off and rigid and be like, nope, never again. Because that's not going to help you live an extraordinary life. That's not going to help you tune into the divine. That's not going to help you open up to change. You're just going to end up doubling, tripling, quadrupling down like my family. And this isn't me trying to bash on them. That they're at where they're at. They can learn, grow, and improve. They can change. But it has to be their choice. Because you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Yeah. The universe just wants us to relax. New Moon in Cancer wants us to remember to breathe, to appreciate, to allow, to receive, to go with the flow. That we don't have to be rigid. We don't have to try to control and force things, to coerce things to go a certain way. We can be grateful. We can look for reasons to be happy. Look for ways to create peace. Look for, things that we can already appreciate and have fun with. Because if we choose to enjoy life, if we choose to look for the good, more of it's going to come in, because where we put our time, energy, and attention will grow. It will build momentum, and we will manifest that reality. The energy we put out comes back to us. So if we're able to relax, to breathe, to process, to work through our feelings, to, open up, to trust, to be grateful, all that positive energy is going to come in. We're going to be opening ourselves up to receive, to allow it to come in. Trust that it's working out for us. Trust that the universe is working behind the scenes to work everything out in our highest favor, even if we can't see it yet. Even if we don't know all the components in play, and we don't know how it's all going to work out in the end, we can relax. We don't have to be, having this death grip on the metaphorical steering wheel of our life. We can co-pilot with the universe. We can hand over to the universe, be like, hey, your turn to drive for a little bit. You're working things out for me. I don't have to be so hard on myself. I don't have to be so, upset with life. I can look for reasons to be grateful, and I trust that you're working things out for me. I can relax. I can breathe easy. I can work with you instead of fighting against you. Yeah, I can explore, love, and create. The only thing that holds you back is you. with limiting beliefs, negative narratives, sometimes unconscious, sometimes conscious self-sabotage, because, people will purposely self-sabotage so they can keep that victim narrative and be like, no, guys, see, look, I'm the victim, I need help, pity me. Some people will do that, but you don't need to. You can open up to change. You can tune into the divine. You can live an extraordinary life by what you choose to do, by what you open up to, by the mindset and energy you bring to the situation. Breathe love into your life. Remind yourself to breathe. Bring love and gratitude into your life. Bring appreciation. Bring joy. Bring fun. Bring peace. You can live an extraordinary life. You can connect and attune to the divine. You can get in alignment. You can do what resonates. You can trust the universe and relax. You can breathe easy. And you can love your life. Doesn't mean you have to like everything. Doesn't mean it's all to your preference. But overall, you can be like, no, life is a gift and I love it. I adore it. I'm appreciative. Shine love on fear. Love will light up the darkness, and that's the thing. When we feel like the walls are caving in on us and like everything's going wrong, and how could you do this to me, life, universe, God, divine, why, how could you do this, like, why me? Like, when you go for that, like, try to shine more love and appreciation to see if you can see it in a new light, to open up to that change, see if you can shift that narrative. Doesn't mean you have to, be good vibes only. Doesn't mean you can't be human and have your emotions. I certainly did last night. Oh my goodness. But I tried to come from a more loving place. I didn't want to see them as like a pest that need to be exterminated. I just wanted them not to be in my safe space, to not be in my home. So I tried to bring more love in it. It's like, yeah, they were creeping me out, and I'm like, don't touch me, and like trying to use paper to get them out. But I was able to work through my fear, the false evidence appearing real. I was able to bring more love to the situation and be grateful once I found a way to resolve it, Because fear brings a lot of darkness with it, and it makes it seem like all the bad is reality and that nothing good will ever happen again, and, it can just build and grow out of control. But the universe wants you to know you're going to be okay. You can trust, you can relax. Yeah, it wants you to know all is at your fingertips. What has been created by one can be had by all. You can live the extraordinary life. You can live the extraordinary life. You'll need to work through your feelings so that it's not tripping you up and getting in your way, blocking you from everything, preventing you from attuning to the divine, preventing you from trusting the universe, preventing you from opening up to change. Those negative narratives, those limiting beliefs can really trip you up. But once you know and you wholeheartedly believe all is at your fingertips, that you can have what you want, that you can be grateful because you know it's all coming to you. Even if you don't see it yet, even if it's not physically manifested, you know. You know that you can have it and that your life can be wonderful, that it will be. Yeah. The universe wants to reassure you. Reassurance. Trust your intuition and make practical decisions that align with your higher purpose. Your guardian angels are acknowledging your efforts. Yeah. Trust the universe. Attune to the divine, because spirit, the divine, God, like, it has all this divine love for you and is looking out for you and working things in your favor. Rest assured, you will be able to live an extraordinary life. But you gotta work with the universe instead of against it. Yeah, and you gotta get in alignment. Your thoughts are manifesting rapidly. Trust in divine guidance and stay focused on your goals. If I would have stayed focused on the problem, I wouldn't have been open and been able to tune into the solution. I very much saw the reality. And I very much had my feelings about it. But since I was able to get into alignment, I was able to have things work out. The universe was able to help me. I was able to have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, and able to be picking up on signs and be like, okay, maybe it's this, okay, maybe it's that. And whatever I did, whichever one it was, it's all fixed now. And I'm super grateful. And since, I was focusing and putting my energy into the solution, I was able to manifest it. But, when we put our focus and attention and energy on the problem, that's what we manifest. Yeah. We can bring more harmony into life. Embrace harmony in your life. Seek balance between your physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. And it also feels like the different energies, like the physical realm, the emotional realm, and the spiritual realm, because physical realm, there can be problems. The emotional realm can be reacting to the physical realm, but the spiritual realm, your spirit knows that it can trust, that it can relax, that it can tune into the divine and live an extraordinary life, that it can achieve anything, that, love will light the way, that it can love and explore and create and just have a wonderful life. It can have peace and harmony. It can relax. It can rest assured. But the physical and emotional states don't always line up. But in the end, the universe wants you to know you can live an extraordinary life and manifest your dreams. You have the power to make things happen. It is time for you to take action with faith and confidence, knowing that your angels are guiding you and supporting you every step of the way. You can be grateful for it now. Even if you don't have your dream life now, even if things aren't to your preference now, even if there are problems and challenges that you need to work through still, even if, you don't have that dream job or the dream partner or the dream family or the dream house, whatever it is, you can manifest your dreams. It's at your fingertips. You can tune into the divine and manifest it. God, the divine, the universe, your angels, source, spirit, nature, whatever you want to call it, it's working with you, not against you. So relax and let it come to be. We have Parrot. Let go of others' thoughts and opinions. It is time to embrace who you really are. And who you really are is love. You are the divine's child. You are the divine incarnated as a human. You are a spirit soul having a human experience. You're incarnated in the human vessel. So you don't need to get tripped up over what society expects from you or its harsh criticisms or its judgments, You don't need to get so tripped up in that. You can be who you really are. You can follow what lights you up inside, what brings you joy, what brings fun and excitement, and just gets you to savor life as an authentic, genuine person. You can manifest your dreams and live a dream life. You can relax and rest easy, trusting in the universe to have your back. Osprey, your success is now at hand. Allow the abundance to flow to you effortlessly. That's the thing. That's why you need to relax. That's why you need to trust the universe, to open to change, to attune to the divine, to work through your feelings, because your success is at hand. You can live that extraordinary life. You can recognize it is all at your fingertips. That you can get in alignment and manifest your dreams. That what you want can be a reality. It doesn't have to be a pipe dream. And you don't need to listen to other people oh, that's just not the way life is. Life sucks. You can't have that. No one's successful at that. No. Trust, relax, believe, breathe. Breathe more love into your life. Get excited, be grateful, and watch how your mindset shifts reality, helps bring in those dreams and helps manifest them. It's going to start flowing to you effortlessly because you are getting in alignment, you're getting out of your own way. And it's going to be magical. Okay, so we have Beryl. You feel something is lacking in your life, perhaps love, money, or goals. And this could be why you could struggle with gratitude because, you don't have that dream life yet. You don't feel like you're living an extraordinary life. You feel like things are missing, like other people may be better than you. Again, comparison is the thief of joy. So you don't want to get too caught up in that because a lot of people will put on an act, will pretend like everything's great when they're actually unhappy and they're running away from their feelings and their problems, using things like alcohol, gambling, smoking, shopping, Netflix and binging TV and all that, like they'll use it to cover up their unhappiness. And so this is why the universe is saying, hey, trying to look for reasons to be grateful, reasons to be at peace, reasons to have joy, to be in love with life. That is going to change your world. Doesn't mean you forget about what you want in life. Doesn't mean you toss out your dreams and be like, oh, well, that's not happening. It's making peace with what is and making the most of your current situation. Making most of the metaphorical cards you've been dealt right now and still choosing to be happy, still choosing to have peace, still choosing to be in love with life and to be like, you know what, it could be worse. You know, it's not ideal, but what can I do to make the best of this situation? And it's not bad to be human and feel like things are missing. Like, I'll be honest, I'm there with you. I feel like I'm lacking genuine, deep, meaningful connections with people who actually are coming from a place of love, peace, kindness, respect, support. I have not had those kinds of people in my life. I had my best friend since 6th grade. And that's about it. That's about it. And it's come at me from all different sides and it's hard. But I know if I keep focusing on the problem, I'm not going to be able to find those people. I won't be in alignment with that energy and frequency. So I keep choosing gratitude. I keep choosing love. I keep choosing peace and kindness and choosing to stay in my integrity, to keep being who I truly am so I can find these people so I'll be in resonance with them. It's not always easy. This is why the universe is saying, hey, you can connect to spirit. It'll help you out. Yeah. The universe is saying, hey, the storm will pass. Clouds, temporary problems, they won't be here forever. You won't always have those problems. Like with what happened with those little like white inchworm looking things, even though there's so many of them, it's not my problem anymore. It's handled, it's done, it's case closed. And so, yes, you may not be living an extraordinary life right now. Yes, your dreams may not have manifested yet in the physical, but it's temporary. It won't be here forever. Sooner rather than later, it's going to come together for you. But you have to bring the right energy and mindset to it so you can get in alignment and work with the universe and stop getting in your own way. And it's not always easy. But the universe wants you to get back to basics. Quill, get back to basics. So what can you be grateful for and appreciative of right now? Do you have a roof over your head? Do you have access to food and clean water? Do you have clothes on your back? Do you have a place to rest your head? Do you have modern conveniences like air conditioning? Because like it's been a brutal, scorching summer so far. Do you have loved ones? Do you have friends? Even if it's not many. Do you have a pet that you adore? Do you have things that you enjoy, even if it's not, like your dream job and it's not paying the bills yet? Get back to basics. Because when we start making things overly complex when they don't have to be, we can end up sabotaging our own happiness. But if we get back to basics and look for the little things to be happy and grateful for, to be in love with life, to stop and smell the roses, it's going to be a game changer. It's going to help us tune into the divine. It's going to help us live that extraordinary life. Yeah, like stepping into new experience is going to help us be open to that change and start taking chances and to start doing things differently. It's going to help us tune into the divine. It's going to help us foster the happiness, to foster inner happiness, to foster inner peace, to foster gratitude and joy and contentment. Knowing that, yeah, things may not be ideal and perfect and everything to my preference right now, but I can still find happiness. I can still find peace. I can still choose to be grateful, to be kind, to be loving, to appreciate the gift of life because there are people who didn't wake up today. We can choose. You can be happy over little things, like maybe you see beautiful flowers. Maybe you hear your favorite song. Maybe you make yourself some comfort food, your favorite meal. Like there's so many things you can bring more joy into your life. It's a choice. It's a choice. Egg. Success assured with good plans and hard work. And it very much feels like your extraordinary life, your dreams are an egg and they're being incubated. So maybe you don't see it now, but things like choosing gratitude and kindness and love and peace and happiness are going to help incubate your egg so that it can hatch, so that it can thrive, so that you can be successful. So relax, trust the process, and trust that in time it will come, it will be birthed into the world. Yeah, you'll have prosperity, wealth, and abundance. You'll be able to live that extraordinary life. But it really does matter the energy and the mindset you're bringing to things. Know that you are the star. Shine brightly. You will have success. You will have that extraordinary life. All is at your fingertips. You can breathe love into your life. You can savor life. You can tune into the divine. You can trust the universe and relax that things are working out for you, that you will have your dream life. Again, it could take time, but having the gratitude now, choosing peace and happiness and kindness now, choosing love, it's going to make a world of a difference. And, we're still allowed to be human. We're still allowed to have our emotions and have our rough days. It's okay. But trust. Know that things are working out for you because the universe is working behind the scenes even if you don't see the progress right now. You will have that life you dream of. If you keep the faith, if you keep believing, if you stay the course and keep showing up for yourself and putting in the time, energy, and attention to what it is you want. I'm wishing you all a wonderful rest of your day. Please take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.